Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
How are all of you?
Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Everything okay? All good?
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah. Okay, good. So I'll wait for 1 or 2 more minutes, waiting for others to join. Any doubts so far till then? If you have any doubts?
मुझे एक डाउट है। कल जो हम लोगों ने त्रिगुणा की बात की ना, उसमें कलर एसोसिएटेड विथ ऑल वाइट रेड एंड एवरीथिंग, तो उसमें मुझे ये समझ में नहीं आया कि मतलब क्या हर चीज सफेद जो दिख रही है वो सत्व है?
If you are consciously aware of it, तो उसकी that the quality of something white is very sattvic, basically.
वो तो सपोज मैनमेड भी है ना, आज हम लोग कहीं पे व्हाइट कलर कर रहे हैं या व्हाइट चीज ले रहे हैं, में तो दूसरे एट्रीब्यूट्स भी आ जाते हैं।
दूसरे एट्रीब्यूट्स जैसे लाइक थोड़ा सा एलाबोरेट करो इस चीज पर।
जैसे मैं आज आपको बता रही हूँ, आज कोई पर्सनालिटी है, मतलब उसके अंदर के भाव ठीक नहीं है, लेकिन वो अच्छे से पूरा गेटअप वाइट करता है, अपना ड्रेसिंग वाइट करता है, सराउंडिंग पूरा वाइट रखता है।
हाँ, ओके।
मतलब ऐसा कोशिश करता है कि वो सत्व है, तो क्या सत्व मान लिया जाए?
नो, सो ऐसा नहीं है. So this is the, like, it's a very I can say conscious effort that you are making to move towards the sattvic quality. Now I'm not feeling okay, I'm in a lot of tamas or I'm in a lot of rajas, so wearing white will give me at least some like qualities of what sattva is. But that doesn't mean if I'm surrounded by white or if I'm wearing white my personality is sattvic. We are a mixture of all three of them, and we have to move towards sattvic. So all of these things, when you become consciously aware of them, they will help you. वो श्योरिटी नहीं दे रहा आपको कि अंदर से सात्विक, वो तो as when you progress on the path of yoga, when you progress in your practices, then that internal cleansing also starts happening. तो वो तो उसके साथ भी आएगा. Both the things will aid you.
और जैसे ही मतलब जो लोग योगी है, तो उनको तो ये कलर इफेक्ट करते ही नहीं है ना, वो तो उनसे भी ऊपर है।
So Krishna ji said that you have to rise above all three of them, because these are the three gunas of prakriti or nature. Yeah, as long as you're functioning in these three, then and you are attached to them, like how they're moving, you are also moving along with that state only. So that will keep you in a foundation. Like, but our goal is to get free of all of the sufferings, no, by transcending all three.
So I also have a question. So yesterday when you gave example of charity where we are doing with good intention, but eventually it end up not in a good place. So the thing is, like, now that will not be called as like sattva, right? If it is, it will call as a tamasic gun if it is being used, my money is being used for bad practices. So what I want to ask is, like, that thing is not really in our control, right? I mean, we can just have our own intention of giving, but later on, how will I ever know how is that money going to be used? and and there are subsequent process also, right? Let's say I gave you to buy food materials. After that you are cooking that food, or if you're wasting that food, right? So there is a long process. So I don't know, say so the whole chain is related to that sattva gun, and it's nearly impossible to identify where it is going to like in a good way or a bad way. So how do you control that?
You cannot control that, but it will be your ignorance if you give it somewhere where you know it might most probably won't be utilized properly. And second trait is when you're giving somewhere, then it has to benefit a lot of people. That is when you know at least it's going in a sattvic direction, like whatever you are giving or whatever you are doing. So if if I am giving to a beggar and I know that the probability of that beggar going and buying something which is harmful to him and people around him, because when he, for example, consumes alcohol, then he will cause chaos. So it is my ignorance that I am giving that money to him. My intention can be very good. I'm not questioning that. But there is a part in it which is being ignorant towards the reality, yeah, of how it can be used. So, and ignorance is a quality of what? Tamas. So it's not necessary that you will go towards one side only. Like yesterday I also mentioned, there are generally mixtures of two things also. So this can include both sattva and tamas together. So there is ignorance, but there is goodwill behind it. So it's not as easy as like putting it in one box. But now that you become aware of how you are taking that action and where it is directed, at least till the point that you know, then you can be more aware of your own actions. But your internal intention does count a lot. Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because it is like, as you're saying, that where it is highly probable that it's going to benefit. I mean, that itself is like really hard to identify. Is it like going to be in a good way or a bad way? I mean, you never know the other person.
that is out of your control, no doubt about that. But at least there is an understanding of where the probability is higher. Yeah, if I am like giving at a place where I know it might be properly utilized, then I should uh, direct all of that energy, time, or money. Like money is not the only thing, it was just an example, but putting our energy, everything in that direction where it will most probably benefit more than one person, like kind of service is taking place. Yeah. Okay, so we'll start today's class. Okay, so back in next straight, close your eyes and watch your breath. Bring your mind to the present. And now begin to elongate your breath. Inhale deeply. Hold for 2 seconds. And then exhale deeply. Going at your own pace. Take a few breaths in this format. Inhale, hold, and then exhale. Being aware of each and every breath. We'll chant Om 3 times, followed by 3 Shantis. Inhale deeply for Om. Shanti. Shanti. Join both your palms together in front of the chest. And now rub both the palms together. Place them over your eyes. Slowly, while blinking and looking at your palms, come back with a smile. Namaste to everyone. Okay, so today we are starting the class with a game called Two Truths and One Lie. Okay, so all of us will tell three things about us, and the rest of the people have to guess which one of them is the lie. So, for example, I'll begin. So, I did psychology in my bachelor's. I love watermelons, and I own a bicycle. So, can you guess which one of them is a lie?
Or second one lie.
Second
Because-
one.
Because I saw a helmet in your room.
Okay. Any other guesses? No? Yeah. Okay, so the first one was the lie. I have not done my bachelor's in psychology. The rest of the two are true.
So
Okay.
you in yoga you did bachelor.
No, I did my bachelor's in commerce.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, I changed my field.
Right.
Okay. So who is going next? Okay, Jagriti ji, you go next.
I did intermediate CA.
Mhm.
I love laborious job.
Mhm.
I'm very extrovert by nature.
Okay. Everybody
Second
start
one.
guessing. Yeah, I also think second one.
I think the last one.
Mhm.
Second,
The
second,
second one is a lie. Okay.
laborious work I don't like.
Okay.
Yeah, wanted to say that one only, but I forgot which order it was
Okay.
because you took a lot of time to think about that. So I thought it is a lie.
Okay, who is going next? Okay, Shivani, you go next.
I'm actually thinking.
Okay. Omkar ji, you can go next.
Okay. Okay. I have twin brothers. Like me and my brother are twins.
Mhm.
I've done my B in software engineering,
Mhm.
and I just love to be with people.
Be with
Be with people.
people.
I just wanted to be surrounded by people.
Okay.
I think first one is a lie.
No, third one, be with the people.
I would go with one.
Should I forgot what was the word first?
Twin brother or something.
Yeah. No, so third one is lie.
Being with people.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
Right.
Sulekha ji, do you want to go next?
I'm written.
Sulekha ji, you're still on mute. Okay. Shivani ji, you go next.
So first, I'm a volleyball player.
Mhm.
Second, I'm very active on Instagram and FB.
Mhm.
Third, I am a foodie.
Second.
Oh, second.
First one.
Yeah, the second one is lie. I'm not on Insta and FB.
Okay, awesome. Nice. Sulekha ji, you're still on mute. Like, Okay. So we'll take this up later maybe. So let's start with the class.
I just have one question.
Hmm.
Some of the games were really interesting. So I just wanted to know that it was in your curriculum during psychology or yoga, or you just searched it on internet and came up with the games.
I did not do psychology in my bachelor's. Okay.
No, masters you do in yoga, right?
No, 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 no.
Okay.
Yeah. So I searched it online, but I got this idea from somebody. Like my sister is doing psychology, so
Okay.
they play a lot of games. So I stole that idea from her.
Yeah. Nice games actually.
I was like, I'm going to play games in my class because why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
सौम्या जी आपने योगिक स्टडी में किया है या किसमें स्टडी किया है फिलोसफी में?
No, no, no. So I did diploma in yoga. Like I did 2, 3 courses, and out of them, the longest one I did was diploma. So that was a 1-year course, and we covered everything in that. Like it was all 3 years of BSc combined together in 1 year. So we got the crux of everything basically. Yeah. Okay. So let's begin. A lot of truths about my life being discussed today. Okay. So today our topic of discussion is Raj Yoga. Okay, so before starting with this, like as you mentioned, you want to do some topics like off syllabus. So start gathering those topics, okay? And then just share those with me either in the classes, or you can like email us, drop a message or something. So I'll see which all topics I can pick up and we'll cover those, okay, if we have time left. Okay, great. So today our topic is Raj Yoga. So this is the fourth school of yoga, okay, that we are going to discuss. So in this school of thought, basically, this school of thought, you cannot start with this practice before you are established in previous practices. So you either start with like Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Gyan Yoga, or Hatha Yoga, all of these practices. But to reach Raj Yoga, like Raj Yoga requires a certain level of like I can say it's an advanced practice. So once before starting with Raj Yoga, you need to be established in certain things so that you can take up all the steps of Raj Yoga and like you're able to go about them systematically. Okay. So there is a lot of development that you require before reaching this part. So Raj directly means, I can say, king, yeah, or royal. So this is the royal path of yoga. Okay. This is the highest path basically. So what this path gives you is it gives you a systematic process to culture your mind. Okay. So when you read about Raj Yoga, there is a process which is given, which is very practical for you to adopt. And it is related to what? The mind. So it's culturing your mind and it's giving you the answers of the internal world. So its starting point is in itself the internal world only. Okay. So as we have discussed before also, Raj Yoga believes that you can use the ability of the mind to reach the reality. Okay. So the attention of the mind. Yeah. Okay. So over here, like the yogis recognized that the questions that I have inside of me, which I'm not able to find the answers to, they can be attained through my own mind only. Okay. And how? Because that ignorance which is not allowing me to access those answers is because my mind is not given a particular direction. So they realize the power of the mind. So right now, because we are not able to control our mind, so what is happening is it's that same mind is basically going in a process where it is harming us more than it is doing good. Yeah. So what they recognized was, if they are able to channel the powers of the mind or the attention of the mind in a particular direction, then that same concentration or focus will be so bright that it will throw a light on the internal reality. Yeah. And if I'm able to focus it, then I will be able to see that reality very clearly. Okay. So it is a process of internalization only, but it uses the mind. Okay. So mind is given a lot of relevance. Okay. So as soon as the name of Raj Yoga comes in, the Patanjali Yoga Sutra or the Yoga Sutras that were given by Patanjali ji come into play. Okay. So the paths that he had given in his text are directly related with Raj Yoga. Okay. So okay. And what Raj Yoga is doing over here is it's giving you that way. So I'll elaborate more on this. Okay. So what is happening is, first you need to understand the main cause of suffering according to them is actually the mind only, as I told you. So okay. And why the mind? Because there is a lot of, like, I can say, thinking, ego, desires that are present in the mind, which attach me to the world, and that attachment causes suffering. So all of these things, when they come up, and I can add attachment also over here. Yeah. So these all things, when they come up, then what happens is that we go into this state called suffering. Yeah. Okay. So this is the main cause, and Raj Yoga focuses a lot on meditation. Even though it's not the only thing in Raj Yoga, but a lot of emphasis is placed on meditation because it is a process of the mind once again. Yeah. After your mind is stabilized through the external processes, then you go into this process of meditation, which helps you to concentrate all of the energy and throw light on what you're trying to understand, something which cannot be perceived through the senses. So this is the path that is given to understand that thing. Okay. So when we talk of Raj Yoga, a few important points that we will be discussing is, one is vritti. Okay. Second is abhyas, and where are we? Third is kriya yoga and ashtanga yoga. Okay. So vrittis have now come up. Now we're going to discuss vrittis in detail. Okay. So vrittis are, as we have already discussed, they are the mental modifications or the impressions that are formed in the chitta. Okay. And what is yoga? It's the cessation of these mental modifications. So according to Patanjali ji, vrittis are they can be categorized into two types when we see the characteristic basically. So painful and non-painful. Okay. And after that, I can say types of vrittis are 5. So praman, viparya, vikalp,
It's pramana.
praman.
Yeah, spelling.
PRAO. Sorry. Viparya. Wait, let me get the right spelling of this also. Why? Sorry. Nidra and Smriti. Okay. So all these vrittis, yeah.
So like painful and non-painful are on different bases, and these 5 are on different bases.
I'm explaining that only. Yeah. If you have a doubt after this also, then ask. Okay. So all of these vrittis are like painful and non-painful. So as I explained the vritti, they can manifest in two forms. Either the praman will be painful for me, and that is the type of impression that will be formed, or it will be non-painful for me. Okay. That same experience, one experience can be either painful or non-painful. So that is the same case with the vritti. So praman, I can write this in two ways: painful praman and non-painful praman, or painful viparya, non-painful viparya. Okay. That is how, like, so this is like actually two, then two, then two, then two, then two. Okay. So praman is direct, we can say it's right knowledge. Okay. So this is also the, now right knowledge, how do you perceive the right knowledge? There are three ways in which you can understand what is right knowledge. Okay. One is pratyaksh, anuman, agam. Okay. So pratyaksh is the first way in which you can recognize that the knowledge is right or wrong. So very general example, if I'm seeing something, then my direct sense observation, yeah, whatever my senses are perceiving, one thing is that there is an outside object, it is real. Okay. So for example, I'm seeing a flower, so it is real. Yeah, the flower is actually there. And then my senses are perceiving it. So maybe I like the scent of that flower, or I touch it, or I see that and the color is yellow or purple. Yeah. So that is pratyaksh, when I'm depending on my senses to give me the right information. Okay. So that part of right information is pratyaksh. Then pratyaksh is not always reliable. Okay. So what happens is, in a desert, what happens is sometimes we are very thirsty. So people have illusion of seeing water over there. Yeah. So that is when my sense perception will fail me. Yeah, it won't give me the right knowledge. Yeah, it's an illusion is being created. So then what are the other ways in which I can perceive the right knowledge? So the second thing that I can do is through anuman. Now anuman is directly, we understand that it is something that we are getting a hint of because of something else is happening. So two things happen together, and when these two things happen together, we know one thing is happening, so the other thing will happen. Okay, so that becomes our basis of understanding that okay, this is the right knowledge. Okay, your anuman should be based on proper reasoning. Okay, there has to be a proper sound reasoning when you use anuman. Okay, so for example, when I look outside, so today there are a lot of clouds outside where I am. Okay, so I know that when these clouds come up and when I see them in a particular way, like I mean, like if they're very dark or like it's a cloudy day in general, then I know rainfall is going to come. Other factors include excluded. Sorry, other factors excluded. Okay, right now I'm directly inferring that if it's a cloudy day outside, then rainfall is going to happen sometime or the other. So I'm inferring something through a sound reasoning that this has also happened before, and this is properly proven that okay, when there are clouds, they will come down, water will come down in this form, and then evaporation will happen again. This whole process is going on. So anuman can't be just like on any basis that I say that this is happening, so this will happen. Yeah, there is sound reasoning behind anuman. Okay, any doubts?
No.
No? Okay, then what happens is there is a point where your senses will fail you. Okay, and even you cannot draw an inference based on something. Okay, that is where agam or testimony comes in. Okay, so now for example, we talk of meditation, we talk of moksha, we talk of so many things which cannot be generally perceived, right? So in that case, I haven't had an intuitive experience of that thing. Okay, so my pratyaksh will fail me. I cannot like draw an anuman, I can say. How do I put this? Yeah, I cannot infer directly to that state. Like I cannot infer that state when I am absorbed in meditation. So, or what will happen when I get over there, because it's not in my experience, right? So then the agam part comes in, where when somebody tells me that, okay, this is there, so this will happen. So I trust that person, that testimony. So that testimony will become my right knowledge. Now it's very important that the person you are taking agam from is like qualified. Okay, you just cannot once again take agam from anybody. You cannot take anybody's testimony, just any other person who is passing by. Okay, so the relevance of a guru comes in over here. Okay, so what happens is, how do you know that the guru is like you can trust that guru? One thing, the guru should have correct knowledge himself. Yeah, there is an understanding that you develop when you are associated with a guru. Yeah, and the second thing is that that guru should be able to pass down that information without mixing anything else up with it. Okay, so when there is a transfer of information, then also there is no change in that information. So when this process goes on, yeah, then you can trust someone to tell you or guide you in the right direction. Okay, so these are the three ways in which you can perceive the right information. Apart from this, everything, at least as per Patanjali Yoga Sutra, apart from these three things, anything else that falls in the category of knowledge is false knowledge, or I can say unreal, fancy imagination, that kind of thing. Okay, so these are the only three ways that he has given. Yeah. Any question?
या कुछ भी चीज जैसे प्रत्यक्ष और अनुमान में नहीं आती है। आगम आप बोल रहे हैं कि गुरु जो हमको डायरेक्ट करते या ज्ञान देते हैं, लेकिन तुम सपोज किसी के जीवन में गुरु भी नहीं हो, तो उस वक्त तो उसका कॉन्शियस उसका गुरु बन सकता है कि उसका अंतर की अंतरात्मा क्या बोलती है।
बिल्कुल, yes, but once again intuition, like you're talking of intuition. So intuition is something which is I would say, you're able to tap your correct intuition after a while, or at least you're able to listen to that inner voice after a particular level of cleansing of other things like wrong thoughts or incorrect thoughts. So it will take you a while to reach that intuitive, or to connect with that intuitive voice inside of you, and your intuition is never negative. Okay, so whenever that inner voice that tells you that you're not worth it or you're not enough, that is not your intuition. So for that you need to have that understanding of differentiating which inner voice is your intuition and which one isn't. वो होना बहुत जरूरी है. But you can guide your own self, or you can even go for scriptures, like वो भी एक आपका आगम का point बन जाते हैं, because once again you understand that whatever testimony has been given in the Vedas, they are given because somebody directly experienced them. Yeah, so you can fall back on those also.
One point here, like in Agam, right? We are depending on the, like, we are believing Guru or scripture based on they are passing direct knowledge or not. We can also see this in this perspective that the information that he's passing or someone is passing on is actually work for him. Like if he's saying something, then but that comes in pratyaksha or agma. I'm just confused because like if I'm saying someone is saying something that do this and you will be happy, but he himself is looking miserable, then I won't believe him. So that is, I think, will come in pratyaksha because my senses is seeing that, or it will become in agam.
It will come in agam because it's not your experience. So your basis of like distinguishing knowledge is, first is your own sense experience. Second one is you're inferring something that this is happening, so this will happen. Okay. Third is when you are not able to experience it. So you can see that he is happy. Yeah. But those same things, when you do, you will become happy. That is the difference. Yeah. When you trust him and follow his.
I think this is combination of three looking like we are
Yeah.
doing pratyaksha anuman also, we are seeing also, and then we are taking like help from guru also. So maybe.
But agam comes into play when you are not able to, at least for that point, you are not able to directly experience that thing. So उतरेगा वो वहीं पे, उतरेगा वो आपके खुद के एक्सपीरियंस में, पर आ कहाँ से रही है वो नॉलेज? वो एक्सटर्नली, दैट नॉलेज इज कमिंग फ्रॉम somebody external, because right now you are not at that stage where you have experienced it. Once you follow, you will experience it.
Also, I have like this doubt since long. Like we always say this, when we say scriptures in Vedanta or anywhere, so there are a lot of things, right? There are Upanishads, there are Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutra, Aparoksha Vinarvati, everything. A lot of things are there. So which things are they are actually referring to? Like Upanishads are they are saying that main thing is Upanishad, but refer to that. But if you want something else, you can read that. But the main thing that you need to refer is Upanishad. Is that talking about that or something different?
So you can go with any text that you feel you connect with, one thing. And second of all, you feel that when you are reading that text, you are getting some truth out of it. Because see, Vedas and Upanishads are generally talked of when we say that consult some like scripture. Yeah, but it depends on you. Like if you're able to connect with Upanishads more, and Gita is the, like when I explained Bhagavad Gita also, so it's like we can say it's the essence of all Upanishads. So if you just read Bhagavad Gita, that is also enough for you. So it depends on which text you are connecting with. That is very important. Yeah.
एक और बात है कि आगम है वो क्लिष्ट और अक्लिष्ट कैसे हो सकता है?
Agam क्लिष्ट. See, so vritti is something which is being formed inside, no? So that same knowledge, when you are perceiving it, either a good non-painful impression will be formed in the chip or a painful impression will be formed of that. So when you're getting that information, तो जैसे my experience, अब मेरा एक्सपीरियंस हो रहा है वो पॉजिटिव भी हो सकता है नेगेटिव भी हो सकता है उस सेम चीज को लेकर. तो ये पेनफुल नॉन पेनफुल उस चीज से रिलेटेड है कि जैसे आपको कुछ टेस्टिमनी वगैरह मिली तो उसका इंप्रेशन चित्त पर किस तरह का पड़ा. Are you able to understand that?
ये तो
Maybe like suppose I'm believing on just I'm asking that this is correct or not. Like if I'm something believing on something, suppose I'm not believing on God, but a guru told me that just look for this, but he's giving the right information. But because I'm not able to relate that, so that time I may think that that is not convincing me or that is not making me happy at that moment. So this can be taken an example. What you're saying?
I think, I mean, see, in Agam, you're definitely not at that experience. But जब आपको वो knowledge भी मिल रही है, when you're attaining that knowledge, then also, because when we perceive information, some impression is going in the mind. That impression is what? Vritti. Yeah. So now if I tell you that suffering is a reality. Yeah. So अब इसमें क्या होगा? या तो आप उस स्टेज पर होगे where you are like, okay, you accept it. ठीक है, तो वो नॉन पेनफुल वृत्ति बन जाएगी. गई तो इन्फॉर्मेशन, इंप्रेशन तो बन रहा है, बट नॉन पेनफुल गई. और अगर आप उस चीज की एक्सेप्टेंस में नहीं होगे, मतलब तो क्या होगा, सॉरी होगे, तो वो which one did I say first? Okay, let me go about this again. Okay, so अगर आप एक्सेप्टेंस वाली स्टेज पर हो तो आपने इंफॉर्मेशन परसीव करी और उसका एक इंप्रेशन बन रहा है, ठीक है, but it is going in the non painful category. But if you're not at that level of acceptance, then it will again a vritti is being formed in your chitta. Yeah, but then it goes into the painful category.
नहीं, देखिए, सॉरी, गीता में जैसे कृष्ण भगवान अर्जुन को नॉलेज देते हैं, राइट, वो आगमी का ही हम कह सकते कि वो आगमी है. तो उसमें अर्जुन को पेन नहीं होता है. तो
हुआ ना,
यदि गुरु आपको साक्षात दे रहे तो पेनफुल कहाँ हुआ? वो तो रियल फैक्ट हुआ ना.
उनके लिए भी पेनफुल था. इट वाज वेरी पेनफुल फॉर हिम टू एक्चुअली गेट टू द पॉइंट वेयर he had to, by the end of the 18th chapter, that is when he accepts that now he has to go ahead and do that. Before that he was struggling a lot with that. जब information मिल रही थी, that is why it's in a conversation form. Bhagavad Gita, he keeps asking, he keeps questioning. तो acceptance पर नहीं आ पा रहे थे उस चीज की, है ना. information मिल रही थी, साक्षात हो रहा था. he knew that God himself was in front of him, but because of everything, all of his doubts in his mind, वो नहीं accept कर पा रहे थे उस टाइम पे. उनको 18 chapters, he took 18 times to repeat that same information and take it in different forms, है ना.
I wanted to ask if a knowledge is right at this moment, can it be like wrong in the later movement? Is that possible? Like in future, something which is right knowledge at this time can
give me an example.
No, I'm just asking, is that possible? Because, for example, in very earlier days, scientists believed that, okay, the earth is flat, and many people accepted it as a right knowledge. And later on, it was disproved. So now that is a wrong knowledge. So are we talking about these kind of knowledge?
We are not talking about external knowledge when we are discussing vrittis. We are talking about the internal knowledge that we are gaining, है ना. Or see, right knowledge is also coming under vritti only. So there are layers to it.
But in Pratyaksha, we can also categorize external knowledge also, right?
हाँ, पर वो internal knowledge बन रही है. You know that the outside object is real and that is how it's existing. But knowledge तो internal build हो रही है ना आपकी. अच्छा ये है, this thing is there, it is present, there is a real object outside, है ना. But कैसे समझाऊं मैं?
But we can say that that was wrong knowledge, right? Because our Rishi Muni already in ancient time predicted that it's a round. So we already knew that somewhere that knowledge was wrong, right?
नहीं
So and we didn't have any pratyaksha knowledge that we can say that it was right, or we didn't have Anuman also and Agam also. So we can say that that was the wrong knowledge, right?
उसको रॉन्ग नहीं बोल सकते हैं, वो डिपेंड करता है सिचुएशन के ऊपर, है ना. सो मेनी फैक्टर्स अफेक्ट.
See, there are
Yeah.
layers to all of these things. So when you go internally also, like initial level, beginner level, when you start your internal journey, something will be told, like somebody will tell you to follow certain things. फिर when you go deeper into that thing, तो क्या होगा, आपको लगेगा अच्छा जो पहले बताया था that is no more relevant to you. Yeah, so you go deeper. So there are a lot of layers to all of these things. But once you
But the truth that changes with the time or environment, it's we can't call that as a truth actually. If it's universal, like if I say the consciousness is there, so I can certainly say because I am consciousness, or maybe someone has already proven it. But if I am saying that my behavior currently is this, so this is not true. It can change. So how we can say that something is proven now, and if it changes after some time, it can be a right knowledge.
Also, I would like to add to this, the knowledge that we are talking here is with respect to generally like everybody existing in this universe, because something might be right from my perspective, but it will be a wrong knowledge from the different perspective. So are we talking about everybody, what is right for everybody?
So see, I'm trying to find the words. Okay. See, right knowledge over here, does it change? I will have to give this a thought. To be honest, maybe I'm not. I haven't reached that level where I still have to process this. So as per like my understanding, of course, the what is right knowledge for you will change with time, because there are layers. But sorry, yeah, so that will change with time. But okay, I'll think about it and answer this tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll think about this and answer this tomorrow. Okay, so okay. I'll move to the next vritti, which is Viparya, and then we'll close the class. Okay, then we'll discuss the other ones in tomorrow's class. Okay, so Viparya directly translates to false knowledge. Okay, so what is happening over here is that anything, so there is an object outside. Okay, for example, there is an object outside, and when I am perceiving it, the knowledge which is coming to me is wrong. So I'll give an example for this to you. So basically what is happening is, and this happens like Viparya happens because of ignorance. Okay. And the way to eradicate Viparya is Vivek or discrimination. Yeah, which we have discussed already in Gyan Yoga. Yeah. So for example, there is a rope outside. Okay. And because of my fear or my ignorance, like fear is also a part of ignorance only. So because of my fear of snakes, yeah, so what happens is, and there was not a lot of lighting in that place. For example, it was night and there was a rope which was lying on the grass, and because I was so fearful, yeah, so I thought that that rope was the snake. Yeah, so this is where I am gaining false knowledge of the object which is there. Okay, so that false knowledge which is coming because of my avidya or agyan or ignorance, I can say, is the one which I will categorize in Viparya. Okay, so Viparya can be easily, like false knowledge can be easily removed through what? Throwing a light on it. So if I change the factors around myself, so for example, there was a light over there at that point of time, and I had somebody with me, so I wasn't that fearful. Earlier I was alone. So then when all of these factors change, basically I'm throwing light on the false information. Yeah, false information that I'm perceiving. So that thing will, like, now what will happen is that same thing will be perceived properly, because I am throwing some light on that same thing. Not literal light, but yeah, I can say that if ignorance is darkness, then through knowledge or vivek, correct discrimination, I can reach to a point where I reach at least to the right knowledge about that same thing. Okay, so this, like in the first one there is a real object, in the second one there is a false object. Okay, that is the difference between the first two. There is an object, but that object is false basically. Okay, so I'm thinking that it is a snake because of fear, but it's actually not a snake, it's a rope. Okay, is this clear, or any doubts related to this one? No, Viparya is clear. Okay, so I'll get back to you on your questions tomorrow. Can you, like, mm, I would say, like, tell me your doubts in like one question only, so that tomorrow I'm able to like answer that one, those one or two questions. Can you give this to me in a question format, because right now it came up in a discussion format. So I'm not, one is that does the right knowledge change with time? Yeah, one was that. What is the other one?
The other one, he was talking about the truth, because right, I mean the same thing, truth never changes. So that perspective. And one thing which I added on was, are we talking about the knowledge with respect to everybody or just with respect to ourselves? Because something which is right for me will be a wrong knowledge for from a different perspective. So are we saying something universal kind of thing here?
Okay, okay. Tomorrow it is done. Okay, so we'll close the session. Okay, everybody back and necks straight. Close your eyes. And just observe your breath. Allow all of this information to seep in. And now take one deep breath. Inhale deeply. And exhale deeply. Inhale for Om. Om. Shanti. 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 Just relax. Join both your palms together in front of your chest and bow down. And remember any one incident from your past 24 hours that you are grateful for. Say a mental thank you. And now rub both your palms together. Place them over your eyes. Slowly, while blinking and looking at your palms, come back with a smile. And namaste to everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I will see all of you
Thank you.
tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.